Currently, Nintendo has 5 games announced for the Nintendo Switch. One of them is Metroid Prime 4, and the other 4 are all Mario games, which begs the question, are we getting too much Mario in 2024? Let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games, and yes, today I want to talk about the Mario topic that has been going on for really the past like 12 months or so, or actually really only like 8 months, ever since that June Direct in 2023. People have been saying there's too much Mario, which is just really funny because what was it? Probably around this time last year when, we didn't know about Mario Wonder and Mario RPG and all these different things. People were saying that Nintendo had forgotten about Mario and Nintendo was neglecting Mario. And here we are now, just a year later, and the exact opposite is happening, where people are talking as if we are getting way too much Mario. So today I wanted to talk about it, talk about what potential games we could see that aren't even announced that are Mario related, and whether or not that is too much Mario for 1 year of the Switch. So if you enjoy videos like this, if you enjoy Nintendo topics and discussions, please consider subscribing. I would very much appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, and let's talk about the upcoming slate of Mario games that is already announced. So we just had another Code Recollection release. That was our one other game that wasn't Mario related. But now, moving into February, we have Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is a remake of the original game from the Game Boy Advance. There's new levels in it. It looks decent, but I'm kind of reserved on that one. We'll see how it goes. I'll definitely pick it up and try it out, but I don't think there's that much excitement behind that. And it is a remake, as with 2 other games on this list. Then in March, we have Princess Peach's Showtime, which is definitely the most interesting of the bunch, but we don't really know that much about it. It looks like they're just kind of mishing and mashing a bunch of genres together, like mini games almost. It looks very weird. I need to see more of it, but I actually have pretty high expectations for that game, especially once we figure out who's developing it. It could be Next Level, it could be internally developed by one of Nintendo's EPD studios. Maybe the 3D Mario team has been doing this as something of a side project while they get ready for the next 3D Mario on Switch 2. Who knows, but I actually have pretty high hopes for that game. I hope it impresses us next time we see it, hopefully in just a couple weeks here when we get the February Direct. So that's coming in March. And then after Princess Peach Showtime, we do have 2 more remakes or ports, whatever you want to call them, being Luigi's Mansion 2 HD in the summer, and then Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which is coming at some point this year with no exact time frame given. So with that said, that right there is 4 Mario games, 3 of them not being new games. Is that too much Mario? I think right now in this exact moment in, late January 2024, it's easy to say that that's too much Mario back to back, but that's because we don't know the rest of the lineup. I would imagine there are other games that will come in between, so we're not just getting 4 Mario games in a row. I think a Fire Emblem remake, another remake, granted, but I think like a Fire Emblem remake, or maybe my beloved Tomodachi Life. Like, there are other options for games that can release this year in between all of the Mario stuff to help break it up and diversify the lineup for the Switch in 2024. But it's not just those 4 games, is it? There's probably going to be more Mario that we don't even know about yet. This is all speculation. Maybe I could be completely wrong, but I think there's at least 2, maybe 3 more Mario games or Mario adjacent games that we could expect to see in 2024. The first of which being Mario Party. So if you aren't aware, Indie Cube, the developer of Mario Party, they took over the series from Hudson Softback, I think, with Mario Party 9 on the Wii. They've released a Mario Party game almost every year, other year, but recently it's been every 3 years, and come this holiday, it will have already been 3 years since Mario Party Superstars launched back in October 2021. So it is high time for them to release a new party game. Whether or not that actually ends up being Mario Party remains to be seen. I would lean towards yes, just because of how proven of a sales success Mario Party is. Super Mario Party on the Switch sold almost 20 million copies. Mario Party Superstars, I think about half of that, but still very impressive. I would not be shocked at all to see a new Mario Party game from them this year. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's another take on an Animal Crossing party game or something. I would actually prefer if it wasn't Mario Party, but from a business standpoint, I have to imagine Nintendo looks at the sales of a Super Mario Party and just think, well, why not just do another one? It's the final year of the Switch, final years of the Switch. Let's just go ahead and get one more Mario Party on this thing. It's going to sell less than Mario Party Superstars, certainly, but still be a great sales success, especially during the holiday season. So Mario Party is something that I would be willing to bet money on. Something else I am pretty confident about happening this year is a new Mario sports game from Camelot. Similar development timelines to Indie Cube. It has been 3 years, or will have been 3 years come June, that Camelot released Mario Golf Super Rush. Before that, it was 3 years in between Tennis Aces and Super Rush, so it's been 3 years since then. We did get Mario Strikers Battle League back in 2022, but Next Level Games makes that game, not Camelot. So Camelot has not released a game in 3 years, and actually, if they go past June of this year without releasing something, that'll be a historic new amount of time in between games for that developer, which I just would be very shocked to see. I'm definitely curious to see what they actually do. I think a lot of us want a Mario baseball game, myself included. I would love if they do a Mario baseball game, but I've actually been predicting that they'll do another Mario Sports Mix type of game. We seem to get those towards the end of the life cycle of a console. We saw it happen with the Wii with Mario Sports Mix, and we saw it happen on 3DS with Mario Sports Superstars. Now, it's interesting with those two games, I believe, at least in the case of Mario Sports Superstars, Bandai Namco co-developed that game. And in fact, they might have actually just wholly made Mario Sports Mix on the Wii. So maybe this wouldn't necessarily be a full effort from Camelot. Maybe they have Bandai Namco helping for this Mario Sports Mix game on Switch this year. But then like next year or the year after, right, 2026, 2025, whatever that is, we finally get another new Mario Tennis game. Because I was talking with my friend Tucker, by the time that we get that Mario Tennis game, that next Mario Tennis game, which is the most popular Mario Sports kind of sub-series, it'll have already been 8 years, 7-8 years since the last Mario Tennis game, which is absolutely crazy. So I would imagine that will be a very early title in the Switch 2's software lineup, maybe even first year, but definitely within the first 18 months, like Tennis Aces was on the Switch. But I think a Mario Sports Mix type of game this year, something a little bit lighter, reusing assets from Super Rush and Mario Strikers Battle League even. I mean, they can work with Next Level and get that over. Maybe some stuff from Tennis Aces, of course, and just maybe add something random, like horse racing again, but something that's actually different, right? I think a Mario Sports Mix game makes a lot of sense on the Switch to just, once again, just add another game to the library, to the lineup this year in the Switch's final year. And then there are 3 more things that could come out this year that I'm less confident about. The first of which is something I've been talking about for a while now. I made a video about it back in September, I believe. Luigi's Mansion 1. This would be a much more low-key thing, you know, it wouldn't be its own full retail release, but I actually think there's a pretty good chance that they put Luigi's Mansion 1 on the eShop before the launch of Luigi's Mansion 2 HD this summer. We saw Pikmin 1 and 2 come out before Pikmin 4. We're seeing Metroid Prime get shadow dropped on the eShop. I think it is very likely, you know, we already have Luigi's Mansion 3. We're getting Luigi's Mansion 2. I think Nintendo will want to complete that trilogy and put Luigi's Mansion 1 on the eShop. Maybe it's a pre-order bonus. Maybe they sell it on its own. Who knows? I don't think it would be the 3DS version remake, right? I think it would be a port emulation version of the GameCube original release of that game. But I would personally love that, and I think it would be pretty low-key, you know. 2 Luigi's Mansion games is fine because one of them's a remake and the other one would just be a port, right? So I don't think that's really going to step on any toes in terms of being too much Mario. So that's something I think could definitely happen this year. But there are 2 other games that a lot of people are talking about, the first of which being a 2D Donkey Kong game. Now, this one I'm not super confident about. You know, we're seeing all these different Donkey Kong tie-in things, right? We're getting the Donkey Kong expansion at Super Nintendo World in Japan this year. We're seeing all of this Mario Kart DLC and Mario Kart 8 in the final wave with Pauline and Funky Kong and Diddy Kong. We're seeing a lot of signs that Nintendo wants to do something with Donkey Kong, but we're not getting a dedicated Donkey Kong game. Tropical Freeze sold very well on the Switch, but we never got a follow-up from Retro Studios. Retro Studios, we know, is busy with Metroid Prime, but there's been a lot of talk about a potential internally developed 2D Donkey Kong game from Nintendo, and while I'm not too sure if that makes sense this year specifically, I could totally see that happening, or maybe they outsource it to another developer. You know, we saw that report a couple days ago about how Nintendo wants to work with more third parties. Maybe they give Donkey Kong to someone else. We'll see. I personally think Donkey Kong is not going to happen this year. I think this would be something that comes out maybe in 2025, but a lot of people are thinking that 2D Donkey Kong makes sense in 2024, so I wanted to mention it because that is not a Mario game, but it is adjacent. It is in the Mario universe. Donkey Kong is in the Mario movie, you know, so he's still kind of there, right? And then the final thing we need to talk about, of course, if you know me, you know I'm on the Switch to 2025 train. I think that console is releasing in March, no sooner, no later. However, there is the possibility, and most people think this, that the Switch 2 will release in holiday 2024, or maybe even a little bit earlier in the late summer months. And if that happens, that would mean we would also get a 3D Mario game, because I think most of us are under the assumption that 3D Mario will be the launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's possible that it's not. It's possible they do something else. Maybe Metroid Prime, maybe they surprise us and Metroid Prime 4 is the launch title. Maybe they do this Ocarina of Time remake that so many have been theorizing about. I don't really view those as launch title material personally. I feel like if Prime 2 is a Switch 2 game, it would still, you know, come to Switch 1, but it would just be a few months after. 3D Mario sells a console. Prime 4 doesn't necessarily sell a console, but I don't know. We'll have to see what they do in terms of their strategy when it comes to the launch title for the Switch 2. But either way, 3D Mario it's safe to assume that'll be in close proximity to when this new hardware releases. So if that happens in 2024, I mean, we're talking about Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, a Mario sports game, a Mario party game, and freaking a 3D Mario game. Like, this is a lot of Mario I'm holding up on my fingers here. And I guess the question really is just, is that too much? It's, like I said at the top of the video, it's funny to think that we're talking that there might be too much Mario happening, considering just a year ago, people were saying Nintendo has forgotten about Mario. But to be honest, I don't really think there is such a thing as too much Mario, because Mario kind of metamorphosizes in so many different ways and so many different spin-offs and sub-series. And I think this year in particular, if Nintendo does want to go all out with Mario games for the Switch, this is the year to do it. This is the right time to release all of these games. In my opinion, Nintendo has properly serviced pretty much every major franchise that they have. You know, there's always going to be those outliers like Star Fox and Kid Icarus, but in terms of like the really popular stuff that they have, with the exception of Donkey Kong, if you count that separately, of course, you know, Fire Emblem fans or Xenoblade fans or Zelda fans, we're not thirsty right now. Let them cook. I can wait. I don't need any of these franchises this year. So, you know, getting something like Another Code was really cool because it's something I didn't expect. I didn't really know I wanted, and now it's here and it's really cool and it helps diversify the lineup. I would be okay with more stuff like that in between, but if it is just mostly Mario with a couple of smaller things sprinkled in between, maybe we do get that Tomodachi Life game that I'm so desperately wanting. I'm fine with it because it feels like, you know, during that period where it seemed as though Nintendo was neglecting Mario, if you actually thought that, during that period, JRPG fans in particular, people like me that like Xenoblade and Fire Emblem, we were eating so well from like 2020 to 2023. Like, we were just getting so many good games from Fire Emblem, from Xenoblade. I mean, we got that Advance Wars remake, like even Bayonetta, which isn't in a JRPG, but more of those like hardcore, not what you think of when you think of Nintendo type of games. We were getting so many of those. That was the hardcore JRPG era. Now we're entering the Scrimblow Bimblow era, because not only are we getting all these Mario games this year and potential Mario games this year, even the end of last year, that's when it really started with Mario RPG, WarioWare Move It, and Mario Wonder. So to me, it's a lot of Mario, there's no doubt about that, but because Mario is so broad in what it is, I mean, there's sports games, party games, action and adventure games with Luigi's Mansion, 2D platformers, 3D platformers, a minigame compilation, or whatever the heck Princess Peach Showtime is. Like, there's just so many different types of Mario that for me, it can't really be too much because there's just so many different gameplay experiences to be had, and I don't really get tired of Mario. I mean, it's Mario. If you do, that's totally valid, but for me, I'm fine with it. And I think it makes a lot of sense if this is the Switch's final year, which it most likely is, that this is what they push, because these are the games that have the highest chance of selling on what is a console with declining sales. So in terms of software, a Mario game is going to have a higher chance of selling right now than something like Xenoblade or Fire Emblem. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think we are getting too much Mario in 2024 and beyond? Of course, all those games I hypothesized, you know, we're not going to get all of those games in 1 year. That'd be crazy. That'd be a lot of Mario 1 year. I don't think we're actually going to get all those. I think we will probably get, you know, we have 4 announced right now. I would think at most there might be 3 more on top of that, but probably just Mario Sports and Mario Party. Those are the realistic ones. 3D Mario, I guess if Switch 2 is this year, then maybe that would be here too. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think it's too much Mario in 1 year? Of course, subscribe here for more Nintendo Switch news, content coverage, all of that stuff. Follow me on Twitter at BoTalksGames and join the Discord that is linked down in the description. Until next time, folks, peace.